Hi, so I want to show you guys a really simple and easy DIY project that I like to do a lot of the time. And so today I'm making some gingerbread men made from homemade clay, but this recipe you can use for any season, any occasion. It's a great moldable and it actually holds up really well after you end up baking it. I've had a few that lasted years, so I mean the actual quality of the clay does hold up. And again, it's just really easy, so I want to share you guys what I made for Christmas. So it's a simple flour-based recipe, and it starts off with 4 cups of flour. And I use kind of all varieties of flour. I've done this with white flour, and I usually use whole wheat. And the whole wheat works because I'm using gingerbread, so the color doesn't matter. So like I said, 4 cups of flour and 1 cup of sugar. And then you're also gonna start off with about 1/4 cup of water. But what I found with this is it just varies, and especially as you can see I'm adding some cinnamon, so that does add more dryness to the recipe, so I usually end up adding more water. But just kind of play with it and see how it goes because it's going to be different every time. So like I said, just kind of keep some water on hand and just pour it in, and you want the texture to be just like clay, like a Play-Doh. I don't know how else to describe it, but you want it to be a smooth dough. It shouldn't be too dry, it shouldn't fall apart, but it shouldn't be like incredibly sticky where you can't get it to hold a shape, because if it can't hold its shape in your hands, it's not going to be very well to cut out your shapes with. So then I just put it on the dough and roll it out on some either wax paper or parchment paper. I just use parchment, and for this one today I'm going to be making them really thick. I usually don't make them this thick, but I thought it'd be kind of cute to have like some really fat little gingerbread guys just for aesthetic reasons. So roll it out to whatever you like, and you can use any sort of cookie cutter. You can do this by freehand and cut whatever you want, but I have just this jumbo-sized gingerbread men that I like to use. And I think this made around like 9, and I would have actually been able to make more gingerbread men if I would have used all of my dough. So depending on your size, you could get a good amount of these, at minimum over 10 for sure. That would be even with a large size cutter. But I ended up throwing away some of my dough or keeping it in the fridge for extras. So you definitely get a good amount. And so I just lined some foil with, I even sprayed it with a little oil, but you don't need to do that. I just did that because I'm OCD and I don't want it to stick. So put them in the oven. I did for 350 for about 2 hours. You want it to be hard, and it shouldn't have any look of a cookie at all. It should be hard when you're taking it out of the oven, and then just let them completely cool. So for my decorating today, I'm covering them with a kind of a shiny veneer looking Mod Podge, and you just get this for a few bucks at your craft store. And I'm doing that because it's gonna have a nice gloss, so you can see without them they're just really matte, but then with it, it gives a nice shine. And then now I also, when I cover it with my gold dust, it has something to adhere to, as well as keeping the dough drying out and cracking. I want it to have a smooth surface to paint onto. So I definitely recommend covering it with some sort of pre-coat. So then once that's dried, which doesn't take very long at all, I'm using this is actually like a makeup powder. Urban Decay makes like an eyeshadow edible body shimmer. And so I'm using that because I have some left over, but you could use paint, you could use glitter, old nail polish, old makeup, anything you want, anything you have on hand. But the good thing is that since this is a shimmer powder, it does stick to the Mod Podge itself. So again, that's kind of a nice balance, and just play, do whatever you want. You could just put gold paint if you wanted to do that, or you could leave the gingerbread as is, but I thought it was kind of playful with the gold. So then I use just any color of puff paint that I have, and I think, you know, obviously the holiday colors are good, but I'm actually not using this paint, so it doesn't really matter what color it is because I'm going to cover it with glitter. So just make any pattern you want. I just did little dots, keeping it easy, and then I'm going to cover it with some extra fine gold craft glitter. So when the paint's still wet, just sprinkle it all over, and I also hold it on the sides. So I'll shake off the glitter, and then I hold it on its side so that I can see if there's any paint still showing. So then once that's dry, I just used acrylic paint, and then I just have fun with it, just painting faces. I made snowmen. Just obviously use your imagination, and this is where you could use this for any occasion. You could have done hearts or presents, I don't even know. But so this is my finished gingerbread men. And so just paint however you want. And like I said, this one I took a long time doing just different layers of coloring and shading. And I've done easy ones, simple ones, all puff paint, some acrylic, leave it as is. And you can even drill holes in the side of the dough if you want to use this as an ornament, which is what I'll be doing. Or they just make really cute little gifts. And like I said, they hold up for years. It should stay really well. You could spray this and cover it with like a clear paint, but I'm keeping this as is, and as long as you take care of it, it should be fine. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and give it a try. Let me know if this is helpful, or leave a comment if you have any other questions that you'd like me to answer, and hope you guys have a great holiday.
But now I know who needs their winter.